What's up, guys? Today I'm coming at you with it's a different video, I guess you'd say. Something I normally wouldn't do. I want to talk about, as you see on the title, it'll be something, I don't know what the title will be. It'll be something to do with getting ready for your concealed handgun permit test or something to that effect. But I've just recently done it, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. It's in North Carolina, so this will probably only apply to North Carolina. But when I was looking to do it, I looked on YouTube and I didn't really see any things as far as there's all sorts of, you know, information you can look at to see if you qualify. So I mean, if you're able to qualify, if you got any felonies or any kind of stalking charges or any kind of weird stuff like that, you're not going to be able to qualify. But for people like that, you already know violation of court orders, carrying weapons on state property. There's a whole list of stuff of why you can't get it, and most people you would know if you could. So I'm not going to go into that. I'm just really going to talk about. I mean, there's regulated firearms carry areas. There's all kind of things like that, and the rules and whatnot. I'm not going to talk about any of that. So this book right here is what you would get. We're not going to talk about any of that. What I want to talk about is getting ready for the class and what to what to expect, how it's going to go down, what you got to do, and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, the class starts at like 8 o'clock. The guy that did mine charged $50. I'll start out with that. The guy charged $50. I've seen it go anywhere from $50 to $150 in the state of North Carolina. You got to have 30 rounds of ammunition. And that's it, and a gun. If you don't have a gun, they'll furnish you one. I think you got to pay them $15 or whatever. But this guy I seen him let some people shoot at his guns, and I don't think he charged them. I mean, super, super nice guy. The guy's name, if anybody's interested, his name is Robert Heaton. He's got an email. I'll put the email in the description in case you're in North Carolina and you want to talk to this guy about it. It's a great dude. But we'll go back to, it started at 8 o'clock. It's supposed to be from 8 to 5. I get there at 8 o'clock. There's like 90 people there. I'm like, because I was a walk-in. My wife works with his daughter, and they got me in there because, it's like $50. And she was like, you need to go ahead and do it. You've been talking about doing it. Because I've been carrying dirty for a long time. Not dirty, but, lead on the seat, which is legal in the state of North Carolina. Just, you can't conceal it. So I've been doing that for a long time, or open carrying. But I got there at 8 o'clock. There's about 90 people there. I think he was a little overwhelmed. He had said it was the largest class he'd ever had. We sit down, they give you a book, give everybody a book. We talked. He went over like different types of guns, like went over revolvers, went over how to, open it, see, clean it, clear it, things like that, how to operate it, double action, single action, things like that. And then same thing with a semi-automatic. He just kind of showed the basic functions of how to use it. There was so many people in there. And the class was so long. You asked questions about that, and then, you went over the laws of how to carry, where you could carry, where you couldn't carry. Just lots and lots and lots of information. So some advice I'll give to you is to take your notebook. I did. Take a notebook, write down notes, things that you think are important, because you're going to have to take a test on it when it's over. Plus, you need to know this stuff, so if you hear something that you think's important, ask. If you want to know a question, ask. I did ask, and I'm going to try to get through this so it's not a real long video, but maybe if I remember, I'll tell you what I asked, because you probably get a kick out of it. Because everybody in the class did, so I'm thinking you'll probably enjoy it. But the class was so big at lunch. We had lunch at 12. like like I said, I got there at 8, and we had lunch at 12. So with it being winter, it gets dark early. So we all 90 go to a range, and if you, I'll put a clip in at the end maybe of somebody on the range. I was filming, so it ain't gonna be of me, but it'll be of some people that were in my class. You know, I'll put it. Well, let's stop right here. I'll put the clip in now. Alright, so I mean, you see, that's the clip of the gun range. But I'll tell you a little bit about the gun range and what you have to do. You're gonna start on the 3-yard line. It's 3, 5, and 7 yards, which is, I think 3 yards is 9 feet and 7 is 21. So I mean, you'll shoot 5, stop, shoot 5, stop. And you got to get 28 out of 30 in the target area. So you shoot 10 from the 3, 10 from the 5, and 10 from the 7. All right. Now, when I stood up there at 3 yards, it looked like I could reach out and touch it. I mean, it looked like a broadside of a barn. And I sit up there and I shoot. You know, I do like that. And I hit the target every single time, but at 3 yards, I was all over the target. I mean, I was in the target, but, you know, just scattered. There wasn't any good groups. So I backed up to the 5 yards. I opened both my eyes, which I do a lot when I shoot anyway. So I could, you know, you can walk it back in when you got both eyes open. And at the 5, it got better. You know, the more I shot, it got better. And then when I got to the 7, I was grouping like that. So, I mean, it was low and left, but I always shoot low and left. So that's a normal for me in a group about like that. But the thing about it is I shot, I mean, when I used this as a Glock 26, that's what I took my test with. I've seen some people, that thing's hot, so I'm going to set it down. I've seen some people use this. A Ruger LCP 380, which has like hardly no sights on it. I mean, it has the like horrible sights. People came in there, had just bought it, had never shot it, didn't have a holster, come in there with a box. Like, I mean, I had my holster on. I didn't wear any of that in class, but when we were at the range, I did put my holster on so I wouldn't have to stand there and hold my gun. And I saw people there that walked in with a box, a Ruger LCP box, that they had just bought, had never shot, nothing. So my advice to you is if you take this class, take a gun that you can shoot. Take one that you have shot prior to going to this, because this is not gun training. They're teaching you. You're just doing what you need to do to be able to get your concealed carry license. They're not teaching you how to shoot a gun. They're not teaching you gun safety. I mean, they are talking gun safety, but I mean, the only way you're going to learn gun safety is if you've had a gun or been around a gun. But my advice is to practice. Go to a range and shoot the gun, because there was this one girl that was on, we were at the 3-yard line. I don't know what she was shooting. I mean, I just know she shot 5 shots and didn't even put one bullet on the target. I mean, nothing. And I was just blown away at, you know, I mean, I did scatter mine, so I guess it can happen if you just, maybe she had eyes closed, I don't know. But she didn't hit anything. I mean, it was really amazing, because I've heard pistol stories of people, you know, shooting point blank at somebody and not hitting them. Now I see why. Maybe she was nervous. Maybe she had never shot a gun. The girl that was sitting beside me in the class told me that she had never fired the gun that she had. She had just bought it in a box, Ruger LCP 380, the LCP 380. This gun here, had never shot it before, but she did pass. Everybody in the class did pass, so the ones that didn't, like when that woman shot 5, she ain't hit nothing, she already failed, because you got to put 28 on target out of 30. So if she missed 5 to start with, she was done. So he just said, hey, just wait and you can try again later. Which, I mean, to me, I don't know what the actual law, I guess there is no law. I guess maybe they can shoot until they do pass, or just, but to me, if I would have been the one that had done it and I needed to shoot again, I'd have been like, hey, I appreciate them, because you pay them the money. I guess they don't want to fail you, so I guess if you pay, everybody passes. But I don't want to be that guy or girl. So when you go, be prepared. Go out and practice a little bit before you go. Be familiar with the gun, how to work the gun, be safe. Plus, the whole time I was there, I was worried about getting shot, because I was around a bunch of people. It's like, yeah, I just bought this gun, and there was some old people. Not anything against older people, but there were some older ladies that were like, holding the gun like they was just terrified. And I was like, man, I sure hope. And they was sweeping everybody, and I was just like, man, God, I should have wore it. I was worried, man. I don't want to get shot. I just kept standing back. From people that had guns. Like when they were on the line, there was somebody next to me on the line just kept having problems after problems. Shoot 5, 5, 5. Then they'd have problems. They'd have to fix their gun, and they'd miss, and they'd have jams. And don't take a gun that's gonna jam. Like there was this dude shooting steel cased ammunition. He kept having failure after failure. He shoot pow jam, pow jam. And I was like, good. It was aggravating me, because I was trying to concentrate. We was at a class. I was there to learn. I was trying to do the best do the best shooting that I could do. And it kind of irritated me, which, is stupid. It shouldn't have, but it did, because it kind of took me out of the moment. And I'd have to, because once you start shooting, like I said, you can walk it back in and get it on target. So that was a little. So be prepared for things like that. You're going to have a lot of stoppages. Be aware of what's around you. I picked he had 12, if you go back in the video, if you didn't pay any attention, he had 12 targets. So there was 10 of us on the line. Well, it might have been 10 targets. I had number 12. I can't remember. If there was 10 people on the line at a time, I know that, but my target number was number 12, which was all the way to the right on the outside, so I didn't have anybody on my right side. So I felt a little bit comfortable with there just being one dude being beside me. But when they're firing, because all those, you're going to get peppered with shell casings every time, which I didn't for some reason. The guy beside me was shooting the instructor's Glock. It was a modified Glock, so it was probably popping them over me. And but if you can, try to get on the outside, because you're not going to be in between two people. And for me, that seemed to work out. But you're not going to learn how to shoot at a concealed carry class. You know what I'm saying? They might. Like they were showing some of them how to hold it grip-wise, things like that. Things like that. But the main thing, try to practice. And I wanted to leave there with a really good-looking target, and I didn't, because I didn't practice. I'll be honest with you. I probably shoot once or twice a month. And I could shoot every day if I wanted to, but I just didn't. It's been cold and we had bad weather and snow. And I didn't practice. There's a lot of people that I talked to. A couple of my buddies, some people I know from around town were in my class, and they said they had went and shot the day before. So I didn't practice because I didn't feel like I needed to, which I didn't. I passed, but like I said, I was kind of bummed because I didn't have a really, I'd like to walk out of there with 30 bullets like that, and I didn't. They were everywhere. And the last shot that I took at 21 yards, I tried for a headshot and I got in the neck on the silhouette. So, I mean, it wasn't bad shooting I hadn't shot that gun in probably 2 months. I mean, I got a little Heritage Rough Rider single action pistol for Christmas, and I've shot that a little bit here and there, but I hadn't shot my Glock in probably 2 or 3 months. So, I went back, and after I looked at it, I thought, man, I wish I'd have practiced so I could have shot better. But that was just me wanting to do better, not something that I needed to do. So, if you're a decent shot from 3 to 7 yards, you ought to be able to. And this isn't for gun people that shoot a lot and practice a lot. This isn't for you. This is for, or unless you want to know what's going to shake down, then this is for everybody. But, so we do that. We finish at the range. Everybody qualifies. But as waves of us go, like there was 9 groups. I was in group 4. So when group 4 was over, I went the place where we was at, it had ice cream drinks. I got me a drink, and I went back to the church. That's where the Conceal Class was in the church, and went back and sat there and waited. So, and it took forever. I mean, 90 people doing that. I mean, it takes a long time. The class lasted, regulated in North Carolina, 8 hours. You got to take an 8-hour class. I mean, it ended up being 10 hours. So, I mean, you get your money's worth if you base it based off of time. I mean, because you could go to an arcade and spend $50 in 30 minutes. So, I mean, I tried to look at it like that, other than, I mean, it was a long day. I was there for 10 hours. I mean, you have to really be invested in this if you want to. It's not something you're going to go do in 2 or 3 hours and walk out of there with a concealed permit. It don't work like that. You got to. And then when we got back, we went over some more of the rules, and I'm not going to get into all that because there's information everywhere for that. That ain't what I'm just trying to tell you. Real world experience of what to expect in a class. I went back, and then you got the people there that talk too much. If he tells you something, the best thing to do is if you have a question, ask, of course, but don't be the person that challenges everything the man says. Like what because people perceive the law different, and people try to work an angle around the law. Well, what if this happens, and what if that happens, and blah blah blah. Well, don't be that person, because you're gonna make us be there at 7 o'clock, and that's what happened. So I will tell you the question that I asked, and we'll end it on that. I hope some of this was helpful. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments, and I'll be glad to answer the best I can. I mean, I've got the book, so I know all the answers to everything anyway. I took the test. I didn't miss any. It's most of it's, if you listen, it's just like any other subject. If you listen, you will pass, no problem, even if you don't know anything about guns, because most of it is gun law. If somebody's on your property, can you shoot them? The answer is no, you can't. I mean, you cannot shoot somebody if they're on your property. I mean, no matter what. I mean, if they come over here and beat your ass, you can't shoot them. So unless they beat your ass and pull a knife out and threaten to kill you, then you can shoot them. But you cannot shoot them to get them off of your property. I mean, you can beat them up and physically. The law says put soft hands on them. Things like that. That'll be on the test. I do remember that because I thought, that's pretty bad. Somebody can come in my own yard and beat me up. I have to take it. But if they've got a gun, they're a live target. If they've got a gun, no questions asked. Pow, pow, pow. That's North Carolina Castle Doctrine. So but like I said, I'm not going to get into too much of that because I may say the wrong thing without actually looking at it. And if I look at that, this video is just going to be that much longer. The question that I asked him was, because we were talking about, you know, if somebody jumped on somebody and beat them up, you know, could you get them off of them and shoot them or whatever. But I asked him if a bad guy was on top of the police beating them, because the guy's a police officer. I said, if the guy's on top of the police beating the police up, could I shoot him? And he said, in that circumstance, you could. If the police, like, I seen this happen before when I was at the beach. When I was at Myrtle Beach, I seen a policeman just getting beat up, and the guy was trying to get his gun, and a guy stepped out of his car and he pulled a weapon, but he didn't shoot the guy. He pulled his weapon and drew his weapon on the guy and told him to get off the cop, but he didn't. He just kept beating the hell out of him. And the police was going, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. And then pow, 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 he did shoot him. So that's why I asked the question. But when I asked the guy the question, he said, yes. And the room just kind of lit up. Everybody laughed because, you know, with the police, it's a different story, but if I saw somebody on top of somebody else beating them up and I shot them, I'm going to jail for murder. But when the police is involved, and you know, because there's another gun involved, so I guess that's where that comes in. But it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. It's kind of serious, but just the general reaction of the guy was, you know, it was funny because he was like, yes, please, because, you know, they're protecting their gun, because when you carry a gun, you have to protect your gun. If they go for your gun, you're going to have to shoot them. You may go to jail. Carrying a gun, carrying a gun any way that you carry it is a big, giant responsibility. And you got to be responsible for your bullet. I mean, if a guy's shooting at you and you shoot back, and you miss, or it goes through him and you kill somebody behind him, I mean, you're liable to go to jail for manslaughter. So there's a big, huge lot of laws, and you know, and that's why I'm not talking about the rules, because I don't want people calling me out, well, that's not true, and blah, blah, blah. This video is really about what to expect from your gun, you know, from going, what to expect when you go to get it. I mean, that's my experience, and that's what I was trying to do this video for, was to just share my experience with you guys. And I'll end it on that. Like I said, it was on a Saturday. I was there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock that night. It was a long day. I was at 2, after we left the range, I was ready to go home. I thought I'd had enough. I thought we had covered everything I needed to know, but it's a pretty, maybe yours won't be that long. I mean, it's supposed to be 8 hours. Maybe it would have been if there wouldn't have been so many. I don't know. But, you know, overall, it was a good experience. I mean, I did learn a few things. Like I said, I could just sit here and talk all night about what happened and what things that I did learn. But I'm not, because I know this video is getting longer and longer. But that's kind of what to expect. And that's what I was trying to find out when I went, was what the shooting ranges for, you know, and I couldn't find anything. I've actually even seen you had, you know, you shot 50 rounds and you had to get 28 out of 50 rounds, but that's not true, or not based off of what this guy did. It was, you know, you had to get 28 out of 30. So, I mean, I put all 30 on target, and, you know, it's always fun to shoot. That was the fun part. But the class work, you know, it's worth it in the long run, because when you get your concealed permit, you don't have to get any more permits, and you can carry concealed, you know, legal carry, legal concealed, not, you know, you still got to follow the rules of, you know, of legal carry. So, but anyway, I appreciate y'all listening to me ramble and talk a little bit. If you like the video, share it, thumbs it up. And like I said, I'll leave Robert's name, and I'll leave his email in the, I'll just put instructor and leave his email or something. I don't know if he wants me to put his name on here or not, but I'll leave the guy's information. You can get in, if you live in North Carolina and you live in my area, maybe, you know, $50. I mean, that's one of the best ones I've seen. And of course, I did leave this out. I was just talking about the concealed class, but to get your permit in the state of North Carolina, you have to get this, and then it's $90 at the courthouse, and that includes fingerprints. So you look at 90, 110, 20, 30, 40. So you're looking at $140 total for a concealed permit in the county that I live in. I think that should apply for all of North Carolina. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it does. But that's my video. And like I said, if you have any questions you want to ask me, feel free to leave it in the comments. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening, and later.